We need we need a theme tune.
Oh god, not this again. That was
Yeah,
like
but do we
the
not?
first episode.
Do we not? I mean, we did have one, kind of. We didn't have one. We had like a fake one, a joke one. It was
We
just
stole.
it was Chuckle Vision,
Yeah.
Barrel Vision, but Barrel Vision, but Barrel Vision, but Barrel Vision. Anyway, as is now customary, we start these off with a taste test. Um,
Yeah. Have you got one this time? Because I don't have any.
yeah, but it's something I've had many times before.
All right.
Although only
This is also
week.
a very weird trend that we've now started. But I'm
That
down
I
for
started. I mean, are you? They bring something every week. I thought, did I have something yesterday? I had like Apple like pencils, like
it.
like the sweets,
Oh god, yeah.
like cable.
I can't
Like
stand any.
cables.
I can't stand like any of those types of
I'm really
sweets.
surprised about that, considering how much crap you consume.
I have standards when it comes to the crap I eat, Harry.
Yeah, but you don't have standards because it's still just crap.
Shush.
Anyway, what is this? Is
Right.
honey rooibos tea, which is the only tea I've had so far that I really like. Without milk, because that's usually a important part. Still put a little bit of sugar in it, but it's like usually teas that you don't have milk with end up being either tasting like petrol or just being like they dry your mouth out for some reason, which doesn't make any fucking sense. This is just really nice. It's fairly sweet and it's very nice and calming. Also, tea is quite Chinese. Um,
Tea without.
I've also got some rabbit stew.
Yeah, well, the Eastern way of making tea, I'm pretty sure they don't bother putting milk in, or like milk isn't really like that's how our tea is kind of different from theirs.
That's because they're all lactose intolerant over there.
I don't know if you can say that, but it would make sense.
Most of the world is lactose intolerant.
Well, yeah, because the only people
actually the exception. That's why it's
wherever they tamed cows, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, in India, cows are like a sacred animal. I mean, I'd argue they're a sacred animal in the Western world, considering how important their products are, for like so many reasons.
Yeah.
For drink, for food, for clothing, all of it. Really, they're extremely. I'd argue leather. Shoes,
Right.
big thing, obviously, more so. But yeah, it's leather. We use leather for a lot of things. And their milk is ridiculously important, even beyond just a drink. It's a ridiculously important ingredient for so many things. And then beef is
amount of food we would lose.
Beef, I guess.
Can lactose intolerant people eat cakes?
I'm sure there are cakes that are lactose free.
Sure, yeah, but like how I don't know how far it goes down the line, like because if they drink milk, obviously they'll get a bit of an icky tomach.
Lactose intolerance can be very mild, right? There's a lot of people who not a lot of people. I know a few people who would just put up with their lactose intolerance to eat pizza.
James who invaded our stream the other day. James is lactose intolerant and he just eats pizza and cereal and stuff like that. Exactly. He don't give a fuck.
But it can be quite bad. It's like one of the most. It's like the most common, but also the most has the most range for an allergy. I don't actually know if it is an allergy. I don't know if there's a difference, but they seem the same thing. An allergy is an intolerance, but at the same time, maybe they're not. I feel like it would be called lactose allergy.
My nan, she's not lactose intolerant, but she actually just can't stand milk. That's the thought of milk.
My mum kind of can't either.
So she has powdered that she then puts water in, and it's kind of weird to be honest. But it's I don't know, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm not sure I should be saying this, but it doesn't.
Yes,
it's like mine because I haven't listened to the exact reason, but I know it's because of trauma. Like when she was young, she had or saw such an amount or just such stale milk that it put her off for life. Something like that. and I think about other things and how she's like deathly afraid of like mice and like maggots. And I realized my nan might not have had the best childhood.
A mouse.
Like,
A mouse
I'm
ate her
putting together some
family.
things in my head that, the point is, yeah, some people, you know, even if they're not lactose intolerant, they don't really like milk. Obviously, you know, like vegans and that. But yeah,
Vegans.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Once you
Food
were,
is pretty
hold on,
wild and
the hell?
cool.
Once you were vegan, now you will be gone.
Stop.
Do you know what that's from?
No.
Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Well, no, Scott Pilgrim was enough. I still don't remember where it's like where in the movie it's from.
When he's fighting the vegan. And he's got vegan powers, and they make him, they trick him into eating meat somehow, and then like the vegan police come and like arrest him.
Right? No, yeah. He was like really fucking strong. Like punched him through some walls, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a good movie. Edgar Wright. He's doing weird stuff now. He's doing weird things now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see that last thing that he did. But I think the next thing that he's doing is pretty similar. So he's you know, doing weird stuff.
He's on one.
He's what?
He's on one.
He's on one.
He's on a rampage.
He's
spree.
He's the fuck.
All right.
That's brilliant.
Have you actually drank your tea? Is
Yeah.
that?
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. The taste. It's delicious. Moving on.
Recommended. Barrel Vision recommendation. What was it? Say it like
honey rooibos. Rooibos, if you are stupid, is spelled ROOIBOS.
As in, that's how you would spell it if you were stupid. But
no, that's how you spell it.
If you're
In case you're
here's how you spell it.
Yeah. That one. Second one. Although I don't think that's too far from the like rooibos.
So there wasn't a Y.
No, it's an R instead. I think that's probably the only thing that could confuse someone. That's fair.
But yeah, I guess that's a recommend. That's because as far as the other things are concerned, they weren't actually that recommended. Like the sweets I had, I actually really didn't touch again.
If it was a Y, I would have called it Rooibos.
Yeah. Rooibos.
Roy.
Okay, none of that. Now you got the theme stuck in my fucking head.
What theme?
All right, yeah, you wouldn't have watched it. It was on CBBC.
What was it though? Am I done?
It was a TV show where they were like Welsh, which was like an interesting thing. Like I hadn't really heard of Welsh people before for the show. But it's like Roy, the main character, is like a cartoon character basically. And he's just like 2D and he's like goofy and wacky, and everyone else is just like normal Welsh people.
I've heard of it. Normal Welsh people. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but like the intro starts with him shouting Roy, and then music, and that's now what I have in my head.
Sick. Let's get.
I don't know whether or not I should recommend that show either. It's for children. I watched it as a child. And I haven't seen it in ages, so God knows if it holds up.
I want to put a recommendation for a TV show, Way Baloo.
Way Baloo?
Yeah, Way Baloo.
The fuck is that?
I don't know how to describe it. I barely remember it. Just like these floating little CGI monkeys that like are different colours.
What's the do you remember the floating, like, they're not like Teletubbies, but they're clearly supposed to be like them, but they're like round furry like colours, and their heads like pop in and out of their body. Like it was some really weird shit like that.
What if that is Way Baloo?
It might be, but this ones were not CGI. It was clearly like people in like puppet costume.
No. This is that's Way Baloo.
Like,
there you go.
Yeah, they were in like some trippy fucking low gravity hellscape where they're always like floating away and like popping their heads out, and it was right, children's TV shows are not bad, but like go younger. Toddlers' TV shows are fucking wild.
Honestly, I'd say that most live action television for children is usually pretty terrifying.
Well, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but as you get like younger and younger, they don't inherently try less, but they make less sense, right? And that's how you get shit like fucking Teletubbies, where they just make up words. Like, I mean, well, I was about to say tubby custard, but that's like the one real thing. Like, it's just custard, but like, yeah, it's just they just fucking make up shit, and like do random things just for kicks and shiggles.
Yeah.
Point is,
like Candle Cove.
That was not real.
Wasn't
Maybe.
it? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think it was real. I don't think it was real, but
I think there was an actual real show that was similar to it. But I don't know.
I remember this shit. It's just
like creepypasta.
Share terrifying nonsense. Scare us. I got so scared by so much shit. I was such a pussy. I couldn't watch the Scooby Doo movie when I was a child. I found that terrifying.
Which one?
First one, actually.
The live action one.
Yeah. Live action.
Oh my god!
At the same time, I even found like the cyberspace ghost scary. Actually.
Okay, that's pretty bad. He is a goofy ass. Like he's pretty. He looks like a mascot for something.
It's like a mascot for a battery brand.
Yeah, like electric, like fucking like company, but it's just like a couple blokes. They just like hired a local artist and they came up with that. And they're like, yes, this is our brand now.
Yeah.
But like, no. Yeah. Maybe we should start talking about like Ape Rock, maybe.
What? No, yeah.
I feel like it's also worth mentioning. Anyone here? Do you like the random fuck off conversations, or would you rather actually just us talk about it immediately? Because we could do that. Like, it's just yeah.
But now our chances of getting this to at least an hour and 15 minutes has like skyrocketed. We're already 12 minutes in, so that's like real helpful.
Which is an intro to the new event, Chinese Lunar New Year.
Chinese Lunar New Convergence Year.
They don't call it Chinese, do they? They just say Lunar New Year.
The Lunar Festival. I call it the Lunar Festival. It's basically so it's very divorced from China, but it's not divorced from Chinese iconography. But it's also based on in like, honestly, this is actually one of the cooler events in my opinion, because they gave it an in-universe reason, because they couldn't just have it be the holiday that it is exactly. The point is that the moons of Hoxie's actually converge once a year, which, by the way, I don't think that can happen scientifically. I don't think like planets converge once a year. Maybe the moons, maybe planets with multiple moons do. I don't know, but still, that's the whole
how many moons do we know that it has?
I guess at least two. But
yeah, because if there's just two, then that feels possible. They might do it more than once a year, really. At that point,
you'd think it would be more than once a year. Yeah, but I always sort of read that. Well, maybe that could have some kind of effects. Like, I think when I first heard about the Lunar Festival, when they first did it last year, it was like, oh, it's a lunar convergence. Does that mean there'll be some kind of like, I don't know, gravitational anomalies, perhaps? I don't know. They want to be real silly. They could just make something like low gravity more common, even if they wanted to, stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty neat in that sense. And obviously, like I said, it's not divorced from Chinese iconography at all. But at the same time,
which is an interesting implication.
There was kind of an implication of where it came from, and kind of only because the hat was clearly something to do with the Scale Brigade, but. There's no symbols of the Scale Brigade in the space rig, so it's not particularly clear where they get the idea or the decorations from.
There's no symbol of Scale Brigade, but there is like, I would say it leans more on like Celtic stuff, which I would say Scale Brigade kind of does anyway. Of like, kind of like just like shape symbols kind of thing. Like, I don't know if you look around, but there's like a bunch of squares. that will kind of like just be in like a pattern, like a cross or something, like I don't know, like some shape, like just I don't know how to describe it, but like they're not making the Scale Brigade shapes, but there are shapes made in the same way the Scale Brigade is, with just like thick golden lines being used sharply. Like that is actually still a thing.
I guess
around
it's an
the
implication of some kind of culture, possibly even dwarven ancient culture,
Yeah.
that Scale Brigade is like derived from, and this is
Yeah.
possibly closer
And
to
if
the
we-
original.
And if we really want to take it further than they probably want to, the
already
Chinese
have.
decorations, the Chinese decorations would then represent that the dwarven culture is kind of Chinese. Like these like lanterns and fans and peaches are all like
Peaches, yeah,
parts
it's actually
of their
food.
like
We don't see
yeah.
food very often in Deep Rock. We see
Yeah, like,
we, actually,
have,
what
like,
we see a lot is
sausages.
like the sausage is actually the first. So well, that's the thing, isn't it? So we have like boxes of like Chinese takeaway around the space rig, and like Hanksy drops them as well. It's pretty interesting that it's specifically Chinese takeaway, like cans of like soda, I guess, but it's all rubbish. Until Oktoberfest, they actually had sausages that they would eat, and now
Yeah, but
and
that
the
was
fridge has
like
been around for a while, and now we've got bowls of peaches. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, food is having more of a presence.
yeah, which I get. Do we want to pitch that idea a little bit later, like put it in an actual video, not just
Yeah, honestly. So, well, I want to
stream?
talk about this in the sense of I want to refer to yesterday's stream. I don't want us to go over this today because
Yeah.
we'll it's either going to be immortalized in that stream or it could become a proper video, a workshop video later on. But I want to refer to yesterday's stream, which was the Lunar Festival stream, where we gave a pretty, I wouldn't call it a pitch, it was just a pretty thorough brainstorming session of an idea that Tyler's had for a while about sandwiches being a way to customize your missions. Specifically, it started as introducing handicaps via making a sandwich to increase difficulty further, but give the players control over it. And it just became this very fleshed out, just interesting new mechanic.
Slightly scattered, but that's what we would refine in an actual video. But if you want to just hear the idea, because I think the more people that hear the idea, obviously, if they want to, if you want to like chip in, like have an idea of your own, like of a and this will make sense if you watch the stream, a filling idea that you come up with. Obviously you could probably figure it out with that, but like you could always leave that in the comments. But also because like the more people that kind of know an idea, the higher chance that Ghost Ship will hear about it and or like it, right? Like stuff like that. But you're not wrong. Food is actually becoming a pretty weirdly common thing, considering the closest we had before was the empty Chinese boxes and the fruits that we use for beers, right? Which obviously we don't eat them, but they're probably edible if we can drink it.
I'm not sure that they are, because they're not fruits. They're not fruits. So think about it. They're I think technically
they're like wheat, right?
Yeah. But okay. So this is a funny thing about wheat. Wheat isn't a vegetable or a fruit. It's a cereal, and that's actually technical. I think that is what those ingredients are, because it's yeast and like malt and starch and barley. It's like foundational ingredients. It's not stuff that you would ever eat on its own. That's
right.
The whole point.
So you could argue that, and this is going back to the idea, I just want to elaborate slightly, that you could use those ingredients to make the bread to then make the sandwich.
Yeah.
But because those are really the only things. But since they recently, Oktoberfest was celebrating German culture and like German stuff, which obviously included like beer.
It could have been more of a Chinese.
Other things like pretzels.
Chinese food's a pretty big thing.
Yeah, but this really isn't like celebrating Chinese culture or anything. It's just, but they still decided to just like add peaches.
Peaches.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which was a bit weird, a bit interesting. And there is now like a decent amount of models of food. Although I would kind of want to go back and touch on why is it the only food we see in the rig that they eat Chinese takeaway?
I'm not sure it is. It's only because that's the only example I can remember. I don't know. Maybe they just have a good
maybe
outlet.
Because the culture is very Chinese, and therefore the food in the actual canteen is Chinese food.
Yeah.
Point is, it is weirdly implied, but not implied. Weirdly, coincidentally, like they in no way, shape, or form planned this. Weirdly makes it seem like at least the rig is quite Chinese in nature. Like, because obviously the actual lunar celebration isn't inherently a dwarven thing because it's just Hoxies. It's really just that rig. It's a celebration for that rig. No other rig on the T-Proc Ghost Ship, or T-Proc Galactic as a company.
I can't believe you just corrected yourself to the real company instead of the fake one that you were meant to be talking about.
Shush.
No, Ghost Ship. Oh, fuck!
Yeah, like the company as a whole isn't celebrating this. It's just really only a celebration worth talking about on that individual rig, which is, I don't know, it's kind of funky that their way of celebrating in that rig is Chinese lanterns, Chinese fans, and beaches and stuff like that.
Also, we shouldn't.
So, I don't know.
Can't ignore the fact that it's like it does take into account the Chinese. Is that how it works? Is that an actual Chinese thing? They have an animal of the year. That's how it works. And that's
how it works.
Being incorporated now.
It's that changing that is
tied to actual Chinese culture.
Yeah. Which, by the way, my granddad's birthday is on that day, like on the last day of this month. So it's actually questionable as to which one he falls on, like which side, which animal he actually is. Which is kind of funky.
But we know, well, the rabbit. Like the rabbit.
Yeah.
There's a raybot. There's a little hopper.
Yeah. Let's be honest.
It's weird to me that it's a big one in the rig, and the point is that the shipment got lost again, or the freighter crashed or something. I don't think the freighter crashed. I don't think that's the point, because the point is the same. It's the same delivery guy. It just
but he still managed. He still managed to get Oktoberfest mugs to the thing. They just lost a bunch, right? They didn't have enough.
But
because you still had mugs.
Yeah, but if you look at the difference between the two, just conceptually, we're going to end up with way more rabbit statues than they could possibly need. But you can see why they would want more mugs. Because the daughter's just going to keep buying the beer.
They never put it back. They never it never goes back into the system. It just gets left on the floor.
With Oktoberfest, you can imagine that those mugs are used the next time that you order a best worst beer. So yeah, what's going on? What's all that about? I mean, it's just little statues. Either way, I do appreciate the simplicity of it, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I said it really is. It was either I wanted them to experiment with a new type of movement, like maybe have the statue hop, or just be in the ground. I don't want anything special. I thought it would have been interesting if they did, but it just being a statue in the ground. The fact that it's actually quite big as well, it's a two-hander, is kind of funny, because I thought it would be more on mug sized, that you just hold it in your hand, in the palm of your hand. But no, it's more elf sized in its magnitude. But no, it's pretty cool.
It's got some little particle effects.
It's very glowy, very easy to see.
You noted you noted the voice lines.
I love the voice lines.
Do you know why he likes the voice lines? Do you know why? Because they refer to it as an animal statue instead of a rabbit statue.
At no point in time does a voice line say, "Look, it's the rabbit statue," or "It's the year of the rabbit." or any of that. No, they didn't do that. And even though obviously there's no reason not to, if you think about it, right? Like, it's not like there's different types there. They could just say it's the rabbit. But no, Ghost Ship thought ahead. They knew that they would be doing this again next year, which is also what this confirms, that we're going to be getting Lunar New Year's from now on. And they specifically just had it so it's an animal. So they can completely and utterly just reuse the voice lines next year. Obviously, they can't reuse the actual statue because it'll be a different one. The dragon, by the way, so look forward to that. And yeah, point is, though, is those voice lines confirmed that they're thinking ahead to next event, which is pretty cool. And they have already.
It's very simple, but it's just like it makes so much sense. So it's just like we're going to do a different animal every year because of how this works. So no one's going to complain about the voice lines not referring to the animals. So let's just make generic voice lines that can be used universally.
Yeah. So yeah, sense. They now have voice lines they can reuse every year. Let's be honest, they're probably going to reuse most of the decorations. They're probably going to have to, like, obviously change up the actual rabbit specifics parts with whatever, like a dragon statue, which will be a lot cooler, to be honest with you.
If it's like a big, like, like dragon kite that like floats around like a cave angel or something, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're a pretty big fan. I mean, this is more next year, but that's kind of what the situation is right now. Is that, like, cool idea, but like rabbit was like the worst animal it could have been to start on. Like,
what are the
it's
ones?
just a fact.
I feel they have like the rat, don't they?
Yeah, they do have rat. But my point isn't just that rabbits kind of suck, like, visually. There's not much you can do with it. But they also have Easter, right? Which is all about rabbits, and is rabbit based, and like, they got rabbit hats and stuff like that. So they had to come up with another rabbit based thing. And rabbits don't sound like a word anymore. I don't know about you, but like they had to come up with another rabbit based hat that isn't like an Easter one or anything, and like stuff like that. And it's a bit awkward because we're gonna get more rabbit stuff. Or at least they're going to have to try and think of around rabbit, and they need to play into something else for the Easter event. But yeah.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because Easter isn't technically about rabbits at all, because it's sort of it's Christian origin.
Yeah.
In that story, but the Easter Bunny is sprung up as sort of like, I guess, probably a Western construct. I can't say for sure.
Well,
Easter isn't really meant to be about rabbits. I think it is somehow more about eggs than rabbits, which sounds a bit weird.
Yeah, actually, I have no idea where rabbits come into it. Oh, it's just the Easter Bunny, isn't it?
But Easter Bunny is obviously another myth divorced from the actual origin of Easter, the actual technical origin.
Like Santa Claus. Probably big chocolate made him up.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about Santa Claus and the fact that he's not a Christian character, yet he's like a mythical character that's been created around this time that is significant because of Christianity. What the shit? Get out of here, Santa.
Okay, I actually have. I just pulled up all the zodiacs because I really kind of wanted to know what we should expect. And yeah, last year was Tiger. If we could have gotten Tiger last year, which is but next year is Dragon, which I look forward to. Next year after that, Snake. Ooh, which that should be funny. And now from now on, right, next 2 years I think we could comfortably assume they're going to do it, but like as we're going further and further into the future, it feels more and more a bit iffy to say the game's even going to be going. But then it's horse, which is something. Goat.
Goat. I want a goat.
Monkey.
I want a goat mask, a proper goat mask. Like a
in
goat
2028
skull with the horns on it. I want that.
Yeah, in 2028 we're going to be getting the monkey. That I hope the game's still around for all that time, just so we can get like a little monkey hat. Rooster, dog, pig, rat, ox, tiger. Basically, there's like 3 to 4 cool ones, and 2 of them won't come for another like 10 years.
But it's Dragon next year.
Yeah, we got Dragon. Snake might not be bad, but it also might be kind of similar to Dragon because, to be honest, I feel like
snakes can be pretty cool. Snakes are a very weird sort of occupy a very weird space in pop culture where sometimes they're just pests, sometimes they're just pests, but there's also some of the coolest mythological creatures are snakes. Arguably, one of the coolest is a snake.
Are you like? Isn't it Jormungandr?
Jormungandr, yeah, the world serpent. Snakes can be pretty cool. Dragons are inherently cool, though. That's the thing.
Especially Chinese dragons are like they're just kind of interesting because they're just different from the one that everyone else sees. Like,
I think China actually
we said it in the stream.
Original like mythological birthplace of the idea of dragons, and they didn't actually have wings at first. Actually, I guess they were wyverns then, but that was like the most original depictions of dragons. They were just flying snakes.
Well, dragons, Eastern dragons, they just kind of fly. And like I think they walk on clouds is kind of a thing. At least that's what dragons are in One Piece. But like
it's really annoying. I can really imagine so vividly the dragon mask, and it looks so right for what they could do. Even, but I just know it's not going to be that either.
Just in case the devs watching this, which they sometimes might, they have been known to notice us. Next year. Wait, first of all, right now, go watch Kung Fu Panda 2. I think it's 2.
Yeah, Kung Fu Panda 2.
See the dragon scene? Take the head of that dragon and put it on a dwarf. That's next year's hat for you. Just do that. Just like paper, cool Eastern dragon. Put it on a dwarf, and that's your hat. Job done. We done it for you. I don't even think it would look that good, but it would just be better than. Like unless because they don't go hard on hats for this kind of thing, right? They're not gonna make like an actual realistic sick fucking dragon helmet, right? They're not gonna do that. So we might as well get something that would kind of look cool, despite the fact that it would be like glowing red and like paper material and some shit like that. But
found it. I don't know how this will work on the recording. It probably won't. Actually, no, it will. No, it won't. Anyway, look at that. You see that?
Oh, hold on. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's in a game. That's like a 3D render in a game. That's how I imagine. That's how I imagine they would do it, and that's fine, because that's how I'd expect. That's what I'd expect from them. So it can't be worse than that. Either way.
Just make it like a mask, like what it had there. Like the top half would be the top of the mouth, but then like under your mouth would be the bottom of the jaw, and then like with the mouth open is the dwarf's face. Do that. That would be perfect. Still not that good. It's not cool or anything, but it would be the best thing you could do given the fact you refuse to make things look cool. But yeah. And this event hat, which I think is a smooth transition, is another example in that. In that this event hat is not going to be used by anyone that wants to look good, or look anything, or really anyone. I don't think. It's not
going to be used by anyone who wants to look cool. But I can see someone. There's actually a specific engineered paint job that actually like correlates with this quite well, and that
is it. Just a bright red one again?
It's not bright. It's I think it's called Top Dog. And it's like got quite a dark, like brown undersuit color with like bright red and some bright blue parts even. So you can see why it would work.
Alright, so you can actually use it at least, but the question is whether it's worth it, since it's not even a mask. It's not even like a bunny mask. It's just like a bunny hat, which I feel like
I must ask you, Tyler. Would you wear this hat though?
No.
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 I mean, for real.
Like real life?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Why in God's name would I do that?
I don't know. Maybe you're feeling a bit fruity. like the peaches.
I was about to start quoting Kung Fu Panda like 1 then, and I realised, wait, I can't do even a fucking sentence from that scene.
You eat when you are hungry.
Upset.
Okay.
You eat from the sacred peach tree.
Sacred peach tree? What did you do with peach tree?
That's like the peaches come out of his mouth. I was more about the one later when Uruguay dies and he like plants the seed and stuff. Point is, peaches are Chinese, and that's why they're in the thing, or at least did Kung Fu Panda. And to be honest, I bet all of them would watch Kung Fu Panda. So
Kung Fu
that
Panda is
made me where they got
my
it
source
from.
of information in Chinese culture.
Yeah, and I think it's actually a pretty good one. In all fairness,
Is it though? Because
it's probably
why is there no Year of the Panda or Year of the Turtle?
Pandas are like different. There's no Year of the Mantis. Year of the
Crane.
Why is there Mantis? Crane. What? Why didn't they just do some Zodiac ones? I guess because most of them aren't pleasant. As mentioned, like pig. Well, the pigs. There's a lot of pigs. In all fairness,
there is an ox.
Ox. There's like a crocodile.
Yeah, but he's not in the Zodiacs.
He's not in the Zodiacs, but once again, they could have taken a Zodiac.
There was a dragon, but not in that sense. I mean, he's the dragon warrior.
Dragon warrior.
Got that going on, maybe.
They could have used a rat instead. They could have called him the Rat Warrior. Rat mode.
Rabbit. I mean, there's a lot of rabbits in Kung Fu Panda, but none of them.
There is a lot of rabbits and a lot of pigs. They're like the default people.
They are. That's true. That is bloody true. They really are. I don't think there's any of. That's like most of the population is rabbits and pigs, and that's just weird.
Yeah, and you got like the peacock kings.
The peacock kings.
Or shoguns or whatever. I don't know what they call them.
Year of the Peacock. I was drinking my tea out of a Peter Rabbit mug.
Was that on purpose?
No.
Is that to put you in the mood?
No. Put me in the zone in the Year of the Rabbit. No, it wasn't.
We're not in that yet. We're still actually in the Year of the Tiger, I think.
Oh, then why isn't it a tiger?
Because they're losers. They should have kind of done that.
It's January 22nd. Damn it, that's Sunday. I know we're not having Chinese Takeaway on Sunday. They wouldn't do that. Although, I don't think anyone would be... maybe we will, actually. I'll propose that.
Mind.
Actually, I won't propose it. I'll just say, fuck it, we ball, I'll pay for everything.
What?
What?
What? What?
I'm talking about having Chinese takeaway and how
right.
No one's talked about it yet. Although it would be pretty weird for us to have roast on Sunday when that's Chinese New Year, and we usually do have Chinese takeaway. I'll basically be like, I have to remind everyone first of all, and also say, if I have to, I will just pay for everything.
You just want Chinese takeaway that much?
Yes.
Which I do not get at all. I can't stand Chinese.
Yeah, but Tyler, you just need to shut up.
They even fuck up chicken nuggets. They're that bad.
They don't do chicken nuggets.
Exactly. They do chicken weird
nuggets.
Ones.
They do chicken fucking bomb. That's what they do. Chicken. Everything delicious. Somehow. Every single fucking thing from the Chinese takeaway. I don't know how they do it. It's just all delicious. Even fucking... I hate onions. I love their... I could eat a plate of those onions. It's ridiculous. Anyway. What?
Firecrackers. They are cool. I guess this is the thing they like doing now. Is they like having a bit of hub interaction. Obviously, they had snowballs before, but yeah, now they got like firecrackers.
I don't mind it at all.
It's no harm. It's actually kind of cool. Like when you throw a firecracker and it hits one of the firecracker decorations, like the trees.
Yeah,
and
the firecracker decorations that pop as well. And
cool.
you just have little like. You do kind of just have piles of little sticks of dynamite that you can just throw around. Like that feels like it should cause some damage, but it don't.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out though that when it comes to the actual decorations, first of all, I do appreciate the events in the sense of just making Space Rig feel different. It doesn't keep me coming back, but it's still a nice, because I'm going to be coming back anyway. But it's still a nice atmosphere and changes it up.
When the Christmas one ended, because the Christmas one was around for a while, when all those decorations disappeared, it really did kind of make the hub feel a bit empty.
Which is really shouldn't, considering how the hub is by now. The hub's got a lot going on by default anyway, but But now they're going for further. They're going for further with the events, I guess. And I'll tell you, they have gone objectively too far because you can't actually see the daily special beer when you walk out your cabin, which you should be able to do. Or at least from the host cabin. Like
that's like a mechanical issue, right? That's like, yeah, that is like a factual issue, and I would argue on a other ground that they have gone a bit too far. In that they have gone a bit too far. Like if you're just standing in the like in the bar area, there is a bit too much. It's a bit of an overload.
They
just
got
looking
carried in
around.
a way that doesn't quite make sense. So you think it's like they got carried away, but not in terms of carried away and thinking, "Oh, this looks good." They just got carried away and that they just couldn't seem to stop putting decorations down.
Yeah, they just like spam paste, click, like copy paste, like the same shit in as many places as they can. But like, I feel like there was something to the old decorations which they've lost now. In the, like corporate decorations, they're like the bare fucking minimum,
it always
right?
feels too high effort to believe in universe, doesn't it?
They will have like a whimpering Christmas tree in the corner, like 2 to 3 lights, some cheap shitty ass banners, right? And that'll be like the Christmas decorations of like an office. And obviously that's kind of what the environment should be in the hub. It's supposed to be like a kind of drab office workplace. Like it's an office environment that kind of like, it's a job scenario. That's the theme of the game, right? Is you are a fucking a black collar tie dwarf, which does include killing ungodly hordes of alien enemies, but I think that kind of thing.
It could be over time. It could be just over time they just made so much money, and that Deep Frog isn't entirely apathetic towards the dwarves, where it's just like they got enough to splash out a bit. But then you really can't excuse what we've seen for the anniversary decorations, unless the idea is like that the CEO is coming to visit and he wants it like dressed up like his private apartment or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It does feel like it's what they've said. They do get carried away. They acknowledge it themselves. They get carried away. And maybe they don't really recognize it that much because it's probably not that big of a issue on their behalf. But the decorations have gotten out of hand. like in just numbers, not like quality. Like it looks good, it's amazing, whatever. But like if you halved the amount of like banners, particle effects, like stuff like that, you really wouldn't have less.
It's not even that you can't see the daily special beer from your cabin. There's still just like a banner covering half the screen when you're at the bar.
Yeah,
it's right there. It's right in front of it. Like, what is that?
It is. There's just a lot, and it's getting a bit much, especially since Ghost Ship doesn't have a tendency of winding down, just a tendency of winding up. In that they just get more. Next time it's going to add more. They're just going to add more, and especially since they kind of copy paste like the actual decorations, but then they add a little bit more, right? That seems to be how they've kind of done it through the years. They add a little bit more each time, and last year rather, they really kind of added a lot more nearer the end, like decorations wise. They went really fucking hard, and they still are this year, going on to this new event. And if they like copy paste like this year's decorations next year, and they add anything more onto there, that will be too much. Like that would be like overload, especially since you kind of exit the main hub area and there's like not really anything. Mm-hmm. Like you go below, you go above, especially this one, there's not really anything. Like maybe the hundreds of fucking decorations they put in the bar area, maybe they could have just tatted them in the top areas of the rig, like across like the I don't know what the words like balconies I'm gonna go for, even though they're inside of like around the drop pod, right? Like maybe they could just put some of the thousands of fucking banners they put in the bar area on just like them. And so if you look up at the drop pod, it would be like just some decorations there instead of such a dense amount in that area in the fucking Yeah, the
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
fucking
actually not
bar
like
area.
it's not a ridiculous amount. It just feels like it's the amount that you would need for the entire space wrinkle just condensed down to one area. Because it's like you've got
Yeah.
ridiculous concentration of decorations at the bar, yet like places like first of all, I guess the Memorial Hall they don't want to touch, but there's still other places like the upper
They
level.
did it
There's
Christmas.
like a little like area on the upper level that goes untouched, but it's still like an area. It's like where you can look at the drop pod,
Yeah.
and it's got that weird machine that goes around, and it's got some
Yeah, but
computers.
like at Christmas, they did kind of do that. I would say they still went. Oh, they went too far in Christmas in other means, but like they put Santa in the fucking Memorial Hall.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
put like a mug with an elf in at the top. Like,
Also, if this is meant to be quite a dwarven culture, it's quite based in dwarven culture, then I would think the Memorial Hall could absolutely have things in it. That's very fair. So why not? Why
yeah,
not?
and I'm not asking for like as much as in the thing. Just like a little, just take out some of the things in the bar area
Just
because
move
it's a bit
some of it.
much.
Just move some
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. So like wherever you are in the hub, you still feel the festive
It's
spirit.
like in universe, the decorators were just too lazy to go upstairs.
Yeah, it's like if you're having a Christmas party and you just put all your decorations in like the front room, some in the kitchen, and then you don't bother with the upstairs. That's what it feels like. And it's like if you were for any reason go upstairs, you suddenly completely lose the atmosphere because they just didn't put anything up there. And also when you're in the front room, it really feels a bit overwhelming because there's an entire house worth of decorations in the front room. That is what the hub decorations feels like. Is my point. Not that it's inherently a negative. It's just getting a bit much now. like I don't know. I just kind of stood there just trying to take it all in, but just couldn't. Like it's just an overwhelming amount of shit in like that area, to the point where it just blends together into red and gold things. And I can only imagine the anniversary thing is going to be that, but a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk. Actually, we're going to talk about that. Just events.
I haven't
overall,
really seen most of it.
Once I come back from a piss, because
All
goddamn,
right.
do I need to go? What has happened? When I need to go during a thing or recording, it is far more sincere than any other time. Like I actually need to piss. Most of the time, it's pretty not like. I can just feel like I could go, so I do.
Very insincere piss.
Yeah, an insincere piss.
Yeah.
This is a sincere one though. We are back in black. Yeah. What is that? That's not Back in Black.
Isn't it?
That was Highway to Hell.
That is like the same song.
AC/DC's, well, it's not actually the same, right? But you can say that. You can say that. I mean, I like it. Their music is all very, very similar.
So are some of Dio's. Point is,
yes.
moving on. Because I've been listening to your playlist on him, and I'll be honest, within each like album, it's just so similar. like I can kind of tell when we enter a new stage because it actually starts changing up, and it's just it's hard to. I don't know. It just I don't know. It all sounds the same. Doesn't help that it's literally the same singer the whole time. But yeah,
you just lack interpretive complexity on any level.
that's because none of that shit matters. It's just like
nothing matters. You're supposed to make something matter by being interested in it. It's supposed to...
I guess, but it's just like the same backing thing, like every single time, like almost basically identical, like backing stuff, and then they'll like slightly change the guitar part or like the loudest part. Maybe it's a drum. Like they slightly change it. Each song,
there are very
like the
identifiable formulas. You probably didn't. Look, you're probably also being swayed by just Dream Evil because first of all, every song is there from that album, and it is arguably some of the most similar. genuinely there are a couple of those songs that I can't actually when they come on, I'll guess the wrong one with a couple of those songs. That is
Is that the
arguably a
one?
criticism of Dream Evil.
It has like their character in like a really red like area, and it's like after like Holy Diver's album, whatever. Like that was the one where literally like all of them. I just hold on, I'll pull it up.
That doesn't make any sense at all. Because it's not red. What you're talking about? It's not red.
It's not red. Spotify's taking its time. While we do that, yeah, I think we covered actually everything in the hub. At the very least, that was.
What about outside?
Good.
There are fireworks.
I guess the outside of the hub, fireworks, lanterns, looks very nice. Very nice.
I do find it very. Obviously, we have the rabbit, but I do find it very odd that there's been a little bit of an omission of dressing up the caves at all. Obviously, you get it with Christmas, you get it with Halloween, you get it with. Actually, that's it.
That is it, yeah.
And that's only because they've been that way since the beginning. I think Halloween's changed at one point where they had like purple candles or something. But I consider that somewhat missing, like because you have things. I would like to see like the little firecrackers in the caves that you could pick up and throw.
It's kind of like
even
using the thing from a minute ago, like the housing decoration stuff. Going into the caves when there isn't anything in there that's like seasonal, like decoration wise, is like going into the fucking basement. Like there's no lights either, so you could be in there at like any time of year and you wouldn't be able to tell, except like apparently Christmas and Halloween. Probably because the decorations would be taken out of the basement. But like in this example, what it is that yeah, it kind of does feel a bit like surface level then, when like the main part of the game doesn't really have anything other than the actual event. Which would you say you'd prefer? What would you rather? Like frequent decoration, like the presents or the pumpkins, or an event?
Oh, well, I don't know, because the decorations aren't particularly. They're not. Sometimes it can be quite annoying, frankly.
Remember the year when they put far too many pumpkins in?
Yes, I do.
That was a good year.
I do remember the year they put too many pumpkins. I still think there could be more, because the point is that part of a shipment got lost. I think they can include potentially other things, and that's a way to like explain how things end up in the caves. That's how they've done it with the statues and the beer mugs. So other things like the firecrackers or just like inflatable sausages you could just kick around. It's like, why not? Why the fuck not? Shit, I keep forgetting there's one fairly important thing. Yeah, okay, it's about the gag basically. How obviously pretty much every event over the past the past like 3 events have all had certain like implications we can draw from them, and it seems like that's not going to stop, especially when we get to the anniversary this year. But I guess what this one has is that it kind of confirms that they're treating this the way they implement the double XP events as a bit of a gag, and how that's actually a very good thing because it means they're not taking it that seriously. It's like the fact it's just like, oh, he lost the shipment again, we're gonna have to like fire him or something. It's just like this is a joke at this point, and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
It means they're not going to go any further because it's been the same exact thing 3 times in a row, and it's clearly just meant to be funny. It is a gag.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I like gags.
Yeah, I feel like they should spice it up at some point, but like still the gag, right? It should be like after the anniversary, like maybe like that's the line they draw. Like that's it. We fired the driver, or like we got them to fire the driver.
Anniversary frameworks, but he lost them all, and now they're in the cargo crates.
Yeah, like it's like that's it. We've had enough. His incompetence is there, and they fire him, and then like come Easter, like a new guy also drops it. Like it's like they try and play it like it's over now, but then they don't.
But yeah, the freighter itself actually crashing and just being incorporated in some way would be interesting. But that would be a bigger thing for something.
It turns into like a whole fucking season.
Well, yeah, that would be a freighter crash. You would find much bigger shipments of like weapons and things for some reason. Bringing weapons back would be like an
Bit of like
every
Arsenal
season.
stuff or something.
You'd have to like call in something to come and pick up weapon shipments on the surface. That would be like a seasonal event, wouldn't it?
That'd be pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Which they use like the meteorite to kind of work that into it. Maybe try and make it like slightly different, like it would come in diagonally. Would be a cool way
I
of
just
changing
kind of
it
like
up.
the idea of like it's essentially a drop pod esque machine that just comes down. But it's actually just like a massive skill crane. You just see this deep rock hardware giant claw come down and grab the shipment of weapons and then just go back up.
I meant the shipment. The shipment like crashes in diagonally, so it feels a little bit more like it's crashed into it. If you know what I mean.
Sure, why not?
That would be what spices it up slightly from it being basically just another meteorite. Other than I guess in the second part, but yeah, no, that'd be cool. But either way, I wouldn't say I predicted it, but I hoped for this exact scenario. Like back in fucking I guess Christmas, because that was when they did it twice. Is that just make it a gag. Job done.
Yeah, I suppose in a way it also confirms that, because I want to talk about sort of the implications of sort of the standard that we want the events to be and the standard that it seems Ghost Ship are going to be trying to bring them up to. And the easiest thing we can say for sure is that there's going to be a double XP event for every holiday event. First of all, let's lock that in. They call them season events, and then they call the ones in the season seasonal events. Fuck that. Seasonal events is from like the seasons themselves, like season 1, 2, and 3. That's a seasonal event. These are holiday events. That's what we're calling them. So, but also, every holiday event will get a double XP event activity.
Yeah,
every single one. We know that will happen. The other thing that could happen is a drink. Because, I mean, obviously that happened the first time. Oktoberfest sort of brought both of those things. There was a new drink in it, but it was also tied to the double XP thing. But they did say they wanted to do one for Christmas.
Yeah, they wanted to. They couldn't come up with an idea. But then again, they could have come up with one for the Chinese. This new one,
tea, some kind of firecracker like brew, where it makes you like fireworks come out of you or something.
Yeah, it's like a really calm looking drink, but it just like. Yeah, it's like fucking constant explosions or something. But
like those little firecrackers like fly out your mouth. The effects when you just become or you fly up and explode like a firework.
Well, no, it explodes you up to like jump around like a bunny. Basically, like every time you touch the floor, you explode into the air, so you bounce around the rig. I'm annoyed because that's such a good fucking idea that I wish that was a thing, but it ain't. But yeah,
both with jumps that you don't control over, which is kind of flintlock the light, but
Yeah, but it is literally it's just like every time you touch the floor, so you can't actually like stand still or like sit still like while the drinks last, and you like bounce around, and that's like rabbit. I was about to say they could do it next year, but it would make less sense since Dragon. But I don't know. I think the beers have a very I don't know. They could at this point in time. The beers could just be a Oktoberfest thing. Which
I know, but I just think it could really help sell the idea of having limited time purchasable items.
But also, if you think about it, what we know of Ghost Ship, even if they copy the holiday event, and even if they copy the decorations, they're still going to want to do something, like and hat, obviously, but like maybe a little bit more. And I feel like maybe next time round, next year, next Christmas, they'll start adding in the drinks, and then that will be like the whole thing, if you know what I mean. And this year, like I think it's a pretty solid bet that we're going to get Oktoberfest this year. Like they're not gonna not use Oktoberfest. Like they're not like clearly they do now think about reusing stuff and recycling. They're not gonna waste the fact that they have the Oktoberfest event there. They're just probably like touch it up a little bit now that they don't have time. But like, yeah, that would be like something that we could start. That could be something if they wanted to start adding. Although they do actually have to add the Halloween one, which I kind of look forward to what that would be. I mean, it would just be decorations, actually. I don't know why I'm saying that. But
what?
Well, I was looking forward to like what you could retrieve in the Halloween.
Oh no, you have to catch like swarms of like the bats because they had the the flying bats in the space rig.
I think like shooting down a bat like a Festifee would be pretty cool.
Or there's just like swarms that you just have to catch. Because like
I
a
think
flying enemy that you just have to grab.
Harry,
What?
you,
What?
I guess flying enemy that you had to grab. I thought you were like gonna start putting out a fucking net and you have to like catch them all.
I dropped that idea, but it's like
like
in Skyrim when you just press the interact button to catch a butterfly, but the butterfly can still fly away. It's basically like a beer ingredient that flies around. It's something that you can just pick up, but it still
like,
flies. It can fly away from you. Yeah.
Bees AI with bats, except instead of flying towards you, they'll like try and fly away from you as you're like you have to grab them. Something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be pretty cool. And if you do use the bees AI, it should be pretty easy to do. Otherwise, it would just end up being like I don't know, something on the floor, which wouldn't be a good idea since the Halloween stuff already adds a lot of things to the floor. So maybe which is what obviously Christmas did that as well. They got the elf that climbs on the ceilings and that. He goes everywhere, but like
Little elf
I don't know, yeah, something more than something on the floor for Halloween since it already has that really, but not entirely relevant. Point is it's fine. Yeah, I think everything's pretty rad. Everything's pretty good. I also realized. No, wait, never mind. I don't know. I've lost track of things. Didn't we talk about the actual rabbit statue at the beginning of this podcast?
Yeah.
After our family.
Yeah.
Right. So we have covered like everything then. Wow.
Yeah. I hope that this that basically what they're doing is like focusing on these events for a while until they're like done, and then they can just reuse them as they are, like constantly. They're just building up like a good curation of events to fill time because they know that the time between seasons isn't going to change. At the same time, I don't think it's going to get longer either. I think there was a sort of a worry about that, but I just don't believe that. I think they probably want to hold to their own standards. I think they're fine with 6 months, and I want to keep. I don't recall 6 months.
I don't recall if this was something I've stated on anything, but I caught a bit of a stream, and well, it wasn't like this is what's happening, but it was like they said this in the way that it's basically as far as they're going to confirm, but. Literally at the end of the stream, they said we should expect the roadmap at the anniversary stream. That is around when we're going to get it, which makes sense at this point.
But still, I still think season 4 will be around the same time as season 2, even if that means it's lesser. Because, like as I pointed out, the cosmetics they just have cosmetics. I think just in droves constantly, and they're constantly making them because they've had so many ideas for so long. Like you go back to the older anniversaries streams where they have a lot of a lot of frameworks first of all that haven't been implemented. They've got, and that's like even fully rendered headgears that haven't been implemented yet. So I don't think any of that's an issue, and I think it will basically just be the content sort of representative of the time that they spend working on it. But it will still be the same length of time. I don't think they're ever going to go over 6 months, and I think I'm somewhat assured in that. But I think with the events, basically, that's what I think they're doing. They're just focusing on them for a while so that they can be of note and actually like feel like a decent thing to fill for time. And I think the only real like step to make that really work beyond the double XP events is just changing up what cosmetics they have in them. That's just the next step, and something I genuinely want, because I think we can get actually good cosmetics out of these if they wanted, and we can, because they proved that with the pickaxe. And I just want them to see that. I especially want to see them do that instead of the headgears. Not that the headgears are a problem. I don't think it's really taking anything away from them by making them. But they are also just bloating the headgear selection. And none of them are really any good. And I think almost every other type of cosmetic has a higher chance of being good now. Because we haven't got any of the other like categories of cosmetics as holiday items. When so far the only one's been the pickaxe. And that's been good so far. And I can believe like paint jobs and things. I mean, like... For the Lunar Festival, a paint job would be fantastic, I would imagine. But yeah, you could also have Bosco potentially, anything, just other things.
Yeah, like a little lantern
I don't want them to
Bosco.
go too far beyond. Also, actually. Maybe make the assignment somewhat more intricate. Maybe. I don't know if this would be how difficult this would be to implement, but I figured like because of the nature of it being, there is a situation at hand. It's not overly serious, but you are still kind of expected to collect these things and bring them back.
Yeah.
So the assignment we now have more like we can now have more than one primary objective, and if it's possible, I'd like to see that for the assignment where they have the thing that you need to collect be a primary objective for those assignment missions, basically.
I think that might cross a line, but like I think this is something, when you wanted like with this lunar, like the lunar moons, like the moon being a prevalent thing, you wanted like to be like more low gravities. Maybe the assignment could be like 4 low gravities. Like that's what that could be, just what it is. Do 4 low gravity missions, which would be pretty fun.
Halloween would be haunted caves.
It would mean honestly, that there would be at least a haunted cave.
yeah.
But I think I don't know. I do think they need to. They don't need to. But like, I don't even think like right now. It's just that like clearly they care about holiday events, and I feel like they're going to be doing them every year. And I feel like as they keep doing it, they don't have to add more. They could just like change it so it's even more special, right? Like the assignments are really unique and interesting.
Yeah, if they actually provide a unique experience, and I won't mind more of them. They actually provide a unique gameplay experience potentially. Because they are so frequent now, it won't feel like it's gone and we're never going to see it again. Obviously, it would be a year until you see the same one again, but there'll always be something within the next month or two.
And I think your idea of I obviously I kind of played off it with the assignment, but like I think having low gravity, low gravity, or like the more fun things or the more topical warnings, or maybe even adding a warning, but that's maybe a step too far, at least for now. Those kind of things being more common would just kind of change the game for that period of time. If you know what I mean? Like you would just more often have low gravity during this time period. So this time period would kind of feel different while you play the game. Like obviously you got the new like in-game event, but like obviously you would have a lot more low gravity memories associated with this time period, and it would just kind of make it stand out. And if like all of the holidays had that, like a warning or anomaly tied to it, that could be pretty interesting. Just kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, I think there's a lot more they could do over time. Like the next 4 holidays of this type, they could like each one they could add like a beer, and then they'll add like specific assignments to make it more interesting. And then I don't know, then maybe add more low gravity. Right? They don't have to do it all at once, and I don't expect all at once. But
well, in a way, I would actually be kind of for them using like this year to bring all the events up to where they should be. But based on what we've just said, it's not like they've done that with the Lunar Festival. There's still areas where it could be more impactful to the actual game.
Yeah, but like so once again, yet, like,
but I would have given them this year to do that, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
No. I think Ghost Ship. So far, we know they're never going to not do anything, right? Especially now, like they seem to be like innovating. Like, well, right? I don't know. In the past, their holiday events were pretty stale, right? They didn't really do anything with them until like Easter, or I guess anniversary scene before it.
Anniversary. I guess Scale Brigade was the first. That was a big one, but
more of
that was a while ago. That was a while ago now, and Easter was last Easter as well, wasn't it? That was the first, and that was the first Easter, time. The last year kind of represented the start of that, because that's when the Lunar Convergence was introduced and the Summer Beach Party, and like they had this like unique assignment. Like,
which, if you think about it, that could have been a decision on their behalf, because obviously, like during last year, they already had season 1 out for a while, right? So they may have known that and season 2 kind of, being in the works, they may have realized, hold on, these seasons are going to be way longer, like droughts, than our player base are used to. Maybe let's try and focus more on holidays, because that's clearly something they did, right? They clearly went harder during the holidays. Like Oktoberfest, Halloween, and Christmas were Halloween less so because they didn't have much more time, because season 3 was coming out. But like Oktoberfest and Christmas were fucking huge, and they've even like scaled up, Lunar New Year, which is a pretty low, like a sub holiday, considering we only get one headgear. I think they'd got to agree with that, and I feel like it probably is an actual like decision. Like it's not just an accident that they wanted to like just upgrade and innovate just each one, like kind of like, just for the fun of it, because they like get carried away. I feel like they may actually have decided that holiday events are the path to curing the droughts.
I don't think it's too much of a cope to say that, and to also say that I think they could even be doing that because they just know that even aside from the extra work they're now putting into these events, I think even from aside that, they knew that the length between seasons probably wasn't really going to change. Like season 3 was only slightly longer of a gap than between season 1 and 2 because they did put a bit more effort into quite a condensed period into those events. I think overall there probably was a decision made, and they knew that it wouldn't hinder main development too much. It's just that I think they were just in a position where they realised that seasons is just going to take this long anyway. And they actually do have the time, and it won't actually impede them to do this. And I think that's very fair. And also, if that is like to say, not necessarily assume, but if it is also true, that's actually a very good thing. To be fair as well.
Yeah.
If they know they're just not going to be able to get seasons to be shorter, so.
Yeah, but they still, give people a reason to play. And I feel like if this is the case, if what we say is true, and they are really just speccing hard into holidays this year, we probably aren't going to see that much coming out of seasons this year. Like, if this is the case, right? Because in saying the holiday stuff, right, they still need to fill in the summer gap more than the summer holiday thing.
You're right. You are right. I think there's a possibility of something more. Or ideally, it would come in the form of season 4 giving something that can be isn't like doesn't immediately lose its value and can actually sustain engagement over the course of the summer.
Yeah, but they clearly don't want to rely on that kind of thing, right? Maybe this is all speculation, but think, and I've said this before, but like the density of holidays, right? September was Oktoberfest, October was Halloween, and obviously November doesn't actually have anything, but it starts with Halloween still. And obviously, I mean, technically, season 3 came out then, and if they keep up this schedule, November will have season 3 or season 5 or just a season. November will have a season, then December will have Christmas. January will have Lunar New Year. February will have the anniversary.
Hold on. Let's break that. Okay, so January. If I want to, because you just did it going from November through to next year. I think that's a bit weird. Start at the beginning of the year. You have Lunar Festival in January, anniversary in February, Easter in April.
So what's March? Is there nothing in March?
I don't think so.
Right. Well, I started in that time on purpose because it just shows you that, like, from September to February.
I've got the wiki page up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasonal events, holiday events: Lunar Festival, Anniversary, Egg Hunt, Space Beach Party, Oktoberfest, Halloween, Yuletide, and Christmas. Considering how dense Oktoberfest, Halloween, and Christmas are, there is absolutely room and potentially even a need for one more between Space Beach Party and Oktoberfest.
Well, my point is it literally, like, from September to February, every month has something to do.
That's a good point. So yeah.
Every single month.
September, October. Obviously, that bleeds into November though.
Leads into November. Plus, if they keep up the schedule, November will be the season releases.
And then December, and then January and February, and then it's April.
Yeah.
And then it's
So
June.
they do, March is kind of a gap, but then
well,
April,
it's only 1
Easter.
month off. It's only 1 month off between anniversary and Easter, and then 1 month off between Easter and the summer event. But then you go from the summer event, the Space Beach Party, to Oktoberfest.
So
That's June to September,
when would the season launch? Is that also April?
Yeah, like end of April.
Right, end of
early
April.
May.
Right, yeah. So let's count May then, I guess. Just for the sake of it, let's just call it May.
The June to September is the gap.
Yeah, which is a big gap, right? How many? Let's say 2 months, right?
I mean 2 or 3, because you have July and August in between the 2 months. You know.
Yeah, I mean September doesn't really count, but like that's like
you need something.
Around,
you need something end of July that bleeds into August. Is what they need.
It's around a 3-month time period where not only is there no news on the season, because the last season's just kind of like the last season's cooling off, and the new season is not even close enough to really we have like maybe the roadmap, so like no news of like from Ghost Ship really on what we're getting next, and no events for about 3 months. That gap is what they need to fill.
Honestly, I'd like to see them come up with something where it's just the time when like deep, because obviously you could say universe that's still when people have time off, but it could be the time in universe when they like restock things like weapons and stuff. It could be something to do with that even, and it's like they just lose weapons.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Which one was it? Was it like June that they take off?
June is when I guess that's when it starts. Wow, that's when the event is. Summer holiday starts in July. But the point is, what they need basically is an event that goes from the end of July and bleeds into August. That's the time that they need to have something. There isn't anything, or maybe just condensed entirely to July. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh,
I barely remember. I kind of because I followed that thought through, like in my head. So now I've kind of like lost myself.
Silly old
it's just the fact that like I wouldn't normally like be like we need something every month, right? Like that feels too much. But for a solid part of the year, from as mentioned September to February, that's what we get. We get something every month, and not far off that for the petering out after. So I don't think it would be a bad idea for them to lay out the framework of something every month, just something every month. It would not be a bad thing to set up for the future of the game, especially since with the holiday events, it definitely seems like they planned this at least, is that once they've made it now, it won't take that much later.
I figured out what they should do. Summer solstice, something to do with that. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, maybe. Neither do I, to be honest. But like,
it's a day with the longest period of daylight and shortest night of the year. Happens on the 20th or 21st of June. And that means they do something like that and then move the beach party to the end of July. That's what I would do if I was them. Although it's come out with something new just to snap down there. Especially something, like I said, I had my idea of them like restocking season. Something that isn't actually a holiday necessarily. That's actually what I'd like to see the most, just kind of in general.
Yeah. But just like I don't know, like because they don't need to. They can be like obviously this is kind of a lot now to say, but like the Lunar Festival, they can just be a very low key holiday, right? It doesn't have to be that big of a deal. I think what was the summer? Did we get one headgear during summer, like the summer one?
It was the two. It was the flamingo and then like the coconut like hat. Thing,
right, so they still put 2 on that, but like I don't know, like if they like, because if they can get just something every month. Like, and to do this would basically mean that this year's seasons would be pretty bare bones.
Yeah.
But like, if they can do that, then the following years they won't have to do much for the holidays, but there will be content for everyone every month, which is insanely good, right? That's like really fucking good if you can have that scheduled down. And they will have a lot more free time to do seasons. So the seasons will have about 6 months work, like 5 to 4 months worth work put into them.
I'd say more so, probably more towards 4 because how they just patches, I guess. It's probably like 4 and a bit.
Patches, they do take time off during Christmas and they take time off during the summer holidays. So like each season they take time off for a period of time. Patches coming out of the season, time to brainstorm, stuff like that.
Basically, what you're saying is that actually focusing on events for a while will make seasons better in the future, and it will just help streamline things overall, I think.
Because I've been pretty gung ho about the 6 season things being kind of bad, but like it was only as bad as it was because of the drought of nothing, no reason.
And we
to
know
play.
that exactly. It was that example because obviously I do think it's like on face value it is too long, and that's what confuses me about so many people being okay with it, because it's just on face value it's too long when you compare it to like most other games. But at the same time, most people are okay with it. And you look at that and how clearly, that particularly bad example, it's like maybe it's not actually that bad, especially if we have monthly or at least bi-monthly content.
And it feels like it kind of feels like as well that they can't get it down lower than 6 as well. It really feels like that's the case. Like they're not happy about it either, but it's kind of tough. Like it does feel like that's the case. And I think if 6 is just how it's going to be for seasons, and seasons is just how it's going to be for the rest of the game, then having holidays to make sure that there is never a month where there isn't a reason to play is a good idea. It's just that will set the game up for constant replayability and stable player base, despite having infrequent seasons. Well, no, not infrequent. I do think they should still set November, and I don't know what it would what is it, April, right, or like May?
May. Think about it, because November's 11th month of the year, May is the 5th. That's 6 and 6 both ways.
6 and 6, yeah. November and May. If they can put out the season in November and May for PC, let's just say, because the console will kind of make it an issue. But like what they did last year for season 3, early November for PC, and then like late November for us. That if they could do that every year, and they could do about that May, 6 months of both seasons reliably. Like that's fine, to be honest with you. Like, and if every other month that isn't a season, we have something to do, some sort of holiday that they either plucked from a random part of our the world, or something they made up for the in-universe thing. As long as there's something to do that they already have pre-prepared, right? That they're going to do this year. That would be a really good foundation for the game moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Reliable holidays that they don't have to invest/waste their time on every year, that takes away time and effort from seasons. Reliable season dates for them to accurately kind of put how much effort we should put into it, and for players to know when to expect it, right? Because that was another issue, right? We were going through the drought with no news, expecting news like soon, when with hindsight it was still another month, right, before we would start getting news. So if we know when the seasons are coming out, we will then know when to start expecting news, so we won't be sitting there scratching our arms like, come on, T-Proc, come on, go ship, where's the patch notes, where's the patch notes, where's the fucking where's the roadmap, come on, give us a roadmap, stuff like that, right? Like, I mean, I think, if we can also say, like, reliably every year, this roadmap will come out on the anniversary event, just so they can tell us more. Like, it's later down in the schedule, so they can give us a roadmap and a title name. Because let's be honest, we could be getting both, right? Title?
Oh yeah, probably. Most likely, I'd say as long as they are still on track to not go over time, like with the season, as in it will like just come out in like late April, early May, no matter what, or just May, no matter what. Then I'm sure we would get a title around that time. It also means
Yeah.
that time, obviously, that's about a month off, but that's not in the grand scheme of things. It's not a ridiculous amount of time, and in a month, it just means that things are just going to take off, kind
Yeah,
of.
because obviously the month before the season is just teasers, right? That barely needs a holiday,
Well, I mean,
but it just
all I'm
often
saying,
does.
Tyler, is if they're going to be able to announce the season at the anniversary, we could even start seeing teasers before it, but especially like immediately after. It would just start, basically, because they can start
That
teasers
would
quite
mark
in
the
advance.
start of teasers,
So
or
I'm just
could.
saying, it's just going to kick off in about a month. Things will just yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
We had that something like that last year. Kind of happened with Oktoberfest.
Yeah,
Just the
like
time when things go off.
yeah, like for some reason, like because I personally would still prefer 3 seasons that add constant official for the future of the game, no matter what time you're playing, it's there content. I prefer 3 installments of that a year. However, if they can't do that, that's fine, right? But using holidays as this is going to sound a bad term for it, as a crutch, that keeps people playing even throughout the drought and gives you a reason to play, that is like healthy. That is, if that's the healthiest, if they can't go below 6, if they get a steady 6 and something to do every month for just some holiday thing they already made up, that would be an incredibly healthy future for the game. And that be it? I think I would be able to stop complaining about the update schedule and that. If it's reliably 6 months, like constantly, like they tell us 6 months, November. Like in the roadmap, if we get the roadmap on the anniversary, they say November, not Q4, November. If we get stuff like that,
good,
like
good.
reliable month, like just on the roadmap, reliable month both times. That would be really sick. And then if we can get a holiday or just a reason to play every month throughout these gaps between seasons, that would be ideal. And I think that could be where we're heading.
Mm-hmm.
That could be where we're heading. I mean, we might have some gaps here and there, like if they don't create an event for what's after February, March. Like if they don't make shit up for March, then there would be a gap
to make stuff up because, like I said, I want these kind of events, temporary events that aren't holiday focused. I want some of those. I want those. So I just want to see what they would do. What could happen? That could even be actually, then maybe not, because that was kind of what the mid-season update idea was I had a while ago. But that means it would have to be tied to the season, which wouldn't necessarily help them.
Yeah,
but it still wouldn't necessarily be a holiday. I don't know what else it could be though.
I think an assignment wouldn't hurt. Like if they start feeling like because they're copying and pasting holidays, they start feeling like, oh, we feel bad that we're not making unique, then it would give them time to do season-based content, right? Like a halfway point assignment, right? They are going to be freed up by making holidays
an inspection
copy and paste
time event where it's like space rig inspectors are coming around and you have to, I don't know, be on your best performance or something.
Point is yeah, I don't know, like because if they get holidays down to like an automatic system, right? Like copy and paste the decorations because they don't need any more than they do, right? Copy and paste the actual event in there with slight variations for some holidays. Like obviously they need to make a dragon icon. That'd be a bit of effort.
Example of where the variation would come from.
But like if generally, and obviously they need to make new hats. But if they can get it down to as
the elf, they should change the elf to all the different Yule lads.
Like window peeper. But like
sausage swiper.
Like if they can get it down to as minimum effort as possible during that period of time with the maximum amount of payoff that it has ever been, right? Because like if they just do if they just copy and paste like let's say I don't know, like I was gonna say Christmas, but Christmas is far too high. Like they have to bring it down next Christmas. But so it's hard to pick an example. But like the Oktoberfest, if they copy and paste the Oktoberfest, right? Like literally, like they just reuse everything. That Oktoberfest would have cost them like 0 time. No, not technically. It probably still cost them like a day of transferring over the code, making sure they didn't fuck anything up. Like I don't know how long the coding takes, but like it would take them significantly, like 1% of the amount of last year, yet have equal payoff. It would be an equal amount of content to last year with a fraction of the amount of time spent. That's what they can get holidays to if they just reuse it. And that is why when you ping a fucking rabbit statue and they say animal statue, that is why I get so fucking hyped over it.
That's the
because
root of all of
that single forethought implies that yes, they acknowledge from now on, or at least, whenever they feel like it, or whatever plan they have exactly in their head, they are going to reuse as much content as they can for the holiday stuff, which they have done in the past. They've just been upscaling it recently to make it more significant, so it holds its weight more. It's just, I don't know. I'm actually fucking hyped, like
with
positively.
The exception, I want to ask this good. The exception of the anniversary, as in, I think the anniversary is just going to be kind of an exception in general. Because you think about it, I can't remember how the decorations have been previous times. But this is easily, because from what we've seen of the leaks, it's easily the most holiday events decorations have changed. And it's easily the most extreme decorations
it's really,
that have ever been added.
I've seen some things, but like,
it might just
is everything they made?
Tyler, by me saying it's an anomaly, I think the anniversary can represent other things. This is the 5th anniversary. If we ever get to it, the 10th anniversary is going to be something special as well. I think the anniversary isn't going to be the one that necessarily just recycles.
And I feel like they might guilt trip themselves
maybe
into making anniversaries like a more personal touch.
But you look at the ones that have been bigger. I think it was the 3rd anniversary and now the 5th one. There's those are more significant numbers than 2 and 4, and you look at last year's,
synced up with 3 million players as well. Thing.
But you look at last year's, that's the anniversary that would be recycled. At the same time, I have no problem with them going as far as they want for the anniversary. But not any of the other events.
Yeah, even then, it's just like, sure, they go incredibly hard for one holiday, better than all of them.
It's also the birthday. It's the one that makes the most sense. It's a lot of the anniversary has and will once again represent more in terms of actually adding valuable like Scale Brigade is something else entirely, where that's just represents some of the best
and we can actually expect like more stuff like that. Obviously, it's not like Scale Brigade because it's not they're not adding to the actual game, not like fluidly like that. They're doing the DLC, right? That is something that it's just, I don't know, for some reason. Pinging that fucking rabbit has actually just completely flipped my opinion of the future of the game.
I would say that your optimism is very justified, except when you say it's just because of the rabbit. I think there's I think considering what we discussed today, there are very good reasons to be more positive towards the future of the game. And I think part of it is sort of just us accepting that we should be, but also there are good reasons, and it's also probably in part us having got a lot of it out of our system.
Yeah, well, I think it's because we were in the dark before, right? We were in the mist. We had no fucking clue where they were going, where they were taking us, where they were taking the game, right? But I think finally we see maybe not the source, but a flash of light that could be where they're bringing the game. Because they're still probably gonna when they give us a roadmap in the fucking anniversary event, it still might be Q4, right? That's still probably going to be the case, or Q3. That would kind of throw me for a loop. But at this point in time, actually, on a very serious note,
I'd be surprised if they said that again. Because remember, every time it has been the initial roadmap, it's been Q3, or at least it was for season 3. when we first got that roadmap. Actually, no, it wasn't. I think we discovered that it wasn't. Actually, we were discussing it, and I looked back, and it actually was Q4. Either way,
but I honestly, if they say Q4, I remember saying in the past that if it said Q4, I would like sob, because their expectations are there, and they're gonna like fuck it up, and then it ended up being like beginning of the next year. But if they say Q4, that would actually like instill a very like. Well, actually, no, it's not going to say Q4. I just realised like the anniversary one's going to not say Q4 because it's not that one. But like the one after the anniversary stream for the season 5, if that says Q4, that will just I don't know, I don't know, something like that. It's like if I can see that they are doing what I hope they're doing in the like the anniversary, not the anniversary, the fucking roadmaps are more specific, right? If they're more accurate to what like is likely, which is clearly Q3 isn't realistic. That has been shown that Q3 is not possible. So don't say it. If they say Q4, that will tell me they now have a better grasp of what they can and can't do.
Exactly. That's exactly right. It'd be much better to see that than not. But in terms of that roadmap, like I said, that's the next big thing to look forward to. Is just that time, sort of late February when the anniversary stuff kicks off. We get the anniversary event, we get the streams, we get, it seems, just some actual news.
A minimum roadmap,
yeah. But do you think this actually increases? I think increases likelihood, but of us seeing more on the roadmap. But I don't know if I should be expecting that still.
Well, think about it this way, Harry.
Because of the way that we know that they plan things, I don't know if there's actually more reason to expect to see season 5 on there.
It's like halfway through February, right? Or is it near the end of the anniversary?
It's near the end.
Near the end of February. February, March, April to May is when we could expect season 4, right?
Yeah.
So they are giving us the roadmap 2 to 2.5 months before the launch of the season.
Which is close, by the way.
If they can't give us more than normal, normally they'd give the roadmap like a month after the launch, like 5 months before the season comes out. Is what they normally give it to us. If they can't give us more when it's 2 months before the season comes out, I don't know how I feel about that. That might just be them just saying that like we only ever want to give them this much information on the roadmap, or it is them just having fumbled this season. I don't know. Because I think
it's very fair. Okay, put that aside. But I think it's very, very fair and justified to expect that roadmap to be more in depth for season 4 at the very least. Not necessarily going beyond it, but there's no real excuse for it to not be more elaborate than any of the previous roadmaps, considering how close it will be to when season 4 should come out. And I do believe they are going to try and stick to time.
Last anniversary, we did get the title reveal showing that it was a Rival Part 2. So it wouldn't be that weird. Right. Well, actually, this is the fact. The roadmap will tell us whether or not it's a fucking a Rockpox Part 2, right? Because normally it's kind of vague and pointless, but it tends to say like, when it was leaving the rivals, it was like, something's coming towards Creus at a parabolic course, right? If it says something like that, or like, something completely different, like, something's gurgling in the base of Hoxie's, then we know it's going to be not fucking Rockpox anymore. Like, we will know by the roadmap whether or not it'll be Rockpox Part 2. So they might as well give us the title, is my point. They might as well be grand about it and announce the title on their anniversary, because that will be a pretty grand, cool action, and announce that we're giving you new perks and stuff like that, because that is what we're getting, right?
As well. Prototypes, or they'll probably show us some overclock prototypes or something. Because
maybe
I think that's quite likely, because we know that they have overclock prototypes, and they did the weapon prototype showcase a while ago. I think seeing them just play around with some of the overclocks is pretty like.
They haven't hidden the fact that they have overclocks, like kind of stewing. Like they are very open about the fact that they do have overclocks in their back pocket that they started kind of working on, but haven't really found a place to put them. Well, they were going to put them in like, what was it, season 3 or season 2 or something?
I think it was season 1.
Yeah.
But after they realised they weren't quite up to scratch, they sort of just pushed them off the table, especially because they probably thought they would just get lost in like the new weapons as well. So
in all fairness, adding new overclock season 1 or 2 wouldn't make much sense. 3, it would have been a good idea, but
season 3 would have been great if it had overclocks. By the way,
it would have been a good shout. But
double barrel
either way,
as well.
Anniversary will be coming out with at least a quarter to when they think they're going to launch season 4, and what equipment thing we're probably going to get. Right, like either like because obviously before they tell us grenades, guns, what that's going to be this time round, perks, overclocks, traversal, or who knows,
or beers.
something like that. Beers, something like that is definitely what we're going to have coming out of the anniversary stream. But it wouldn't be weird if they gave us more. It wouldn't be weird. Would have more, unless
I'm not going to go in expecting that, but I wouldn't be surprised either.
No, yeah. If we get a title reveal, it would be within, like, exactly. Fair enough. But at the very least, we're going to come out with way more knowledge than we are right now. And I think this is. I don't know. I actually, for some reason, my perspective on the future of this game has flipped. It's still.
Don't lock it in yet.
No,
Don't be like, this is how I feel 100%. But
the roadmap in and of itself, and obviously the stream and maybe dev Q&A, we might try and get a question in. I'm not sure if we want to. I mean, we'll probably try, but we don't know if we can guarantee anything. Like, can't bribe them, but mainly because we don't have any money. But they probably want us to take it. But like the anniversary stream is either going to reinforce, and obviously it still could flip, but it's going to reinforce this now my optimist side of their perspective of the future of the game and what they want to do with it, and like if the roadmap is like accurate, like it gives us a month at the very least, that would be a huge fucking boost. I'd be like, hell yeah. But like it could also fuck with it. Like if we see quarter 3 on that roadmap, that would be
for season 5.
No, for season 4.
Season 4.
In the anniversary, if we see quarter 3, and I don't think you realise
that would be somewhat upsetting, because that would confirm that the holiday events have been like getting in the way. But but for reasons that we discussed today, there is still good reason to prioritize the holiday events in a way.
I honestly, if I were them, I would literally, this season would just come out at. Well, I said, like, fucking May, right? See, this season should come out in May with however much content it is. Like, preferably, they would just, like, add as many perks as they can really make during this amount of time.
Season 3,
and then that would be what they do.
Obviously, season 4, I mean. I have no concerns about them being to make the cosmetics because of reasons I just I've explained today. But if all the other content, basically season 4 should just be as many perks as they can make and as many other rockbox enemies as they can make. That's it.
I honest to God, it doesn't need to be more than that, because I think if they if they are of the opinion that we now kind of hope for, in that this year is not going to be about the seasons. This year is not going to be about adding tons of content during seasons and really shaking up the game. This year is going to be about setting a really solid foundation for holidays and sticking to a reliable schedule on the seasons.
If season 4 is going to be later, though, I would see, like, if it was like it's a new theme, then I'd see why, but I still wouldn't necessarily think that's right.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, I completely agree with you. I think if they leave the rockbox in the state that they are now, it's going to be even worse than the robots. It's going to be a permanent, half-assed feature in the game.
Oh yeah,
like that's what they would leave it in. They'd leave it in such a sorry state And like the robots, say what you will about where they are, whether they should be there, they are
And by the way,
100%.
so this is yeah, exactly. But this is why actually just them making as many Rockbox enemies as they can is a good idea, because I think honestly the best way to treat the Rockbox is as if it's something that essentially becomes native. You think about it, the Glyphids didn't come because of any actual event. And I don't see any reason why there can't be a new sort of faction introduced that essentially becomes native. And you reinforce that by just having it have
Yeah.
an equal
Normal
number of enemies
swarms.
to like,
I think,
you know,
yeah.
having like a Mactera number of like enemies, or more possibly like you combine like the numbers of say Mactera and like Nadocytes for like to make
Yeah.
up the Rockpox faction or something. That amount
Yeah.
maybe.
Just
Yeah.
like 7 to 8
Yeah, seven
of
to
a
seven
solid
to 10
variety.
at most, you know.
Yeah, which is it's only like 5 more. They only really need like 5 more than what we currently got, and they need to fill in some areas. They need to fill in like a flying one. They need to fill in like a big one, a big tanky one, like a boss, like mini boss.
Stationary.
One.
No, because you can actually make it quite simple. You need a stationary like turret type ones, like you know, like a spitballer. You need a flyer.
Yeah.
You need a boss, and you need some other guy like a shellback.
Like a
and
maggot.
You need a support one.
I'm down for the life of Phage maggot.
No, I mean, in terms of the actual functions, you need the flyer, you need the stationary, you need the boss, you need the support.
I think the support
like the
one
warden,
would be cool.
And you also need the miscellaneous, like weird movement one, like a shellback.
Yeah, just something like that. Just try. They need to try and fill in as many kind of areas, holes in the life of Phage arsenal.
Shellback more than any other enemy at the moment.
Yeah, like. Well, because it could be really interesting with what it does. Either you have to, like, all of its things are on the outside and you have to like pop it as it's rolling, or like it is literally indestructible in ball form, but when it opens up, it's just all blisters and you just have to pop it instantly then. Like either or would be quite interesting. As long as they don't do both. It shouldn't be that half outside, half inside, so like you can't kill it at any real point in time.
I think the inside should be more indestructible. I think the blisters should be on the outside. Because the idea is it would leave like a trail, like an infectious trail as well, and it would come.
I'm really down for
the outer blisters as it rolls
around.
I'm
really down for like enemies infecting the ground. Like this is my idea with like the rock presser. Oh, wait, is it? My one was like the rocks presser or something, but someone came up with a way better one.
Rock presser doesn't work at all. Lipo press. I don't know.
Opoxia. Point is the Rockpox suppressor.
Just call it Pat, please.
Yeah, the Rockpox suppressor that I came up with on a video earlier. It would hit the ground like you know it normally does. It throws up like tiles, but that would infect the ground, and then it would be like life-of-AG, and if you stand on it, it will start infecting you, stuff like that. Point is, it would be cool if they added that as a new feature to the Life of Phage enemies, that like all of them kind of do that. So that would add another layer to their actual like intrigue as a type of enemy, in that they will interact with the terrain and make it more dangerous for you to be around. Which is why you want to take them out quickly.
Because this is the thing about the shellbacks, that it would even behave differently. It's like it wouldn't roll at you; it would try and roll around you in like a circle. It would circle you to like make rings of like infectious ground. I think that's.
Yeah, and it's just something like that. It would be really fucking cool. But that's like a step. That's like if they had as much time as they would want, that would be a cool thing to add. But right now, as far as we're aware, they're really running on like
the Rockpox shellback.
They can make
just him.
Yeah. No, they can make enemies probably quite quickly. Really, they have all the code. They can.
In the context of Rockbox, you're right, but I get enemies just feel like it's one of the things that takes actually the most effort.
No. Like a new enemy, sure. Rockboxes are barely new enemies. They have what Rockbox looks like. They have the coding of how they work, and they have the enemies they'd want to put it on. Fuck around with the stats, grey out the original enemy, you have a Rockbox enemy. It's way more than that. It's not as simple as I sound, but the point is that I do think they are probably one of the easiest enemies that they had to make. Like after they've already designed how Rockbox looks. Like they've got the design phase out of the way. Now they just need to apply it to as many things as they can. And I think that is plausible as a thing to just kind of pump out like 5 of. Just like quickly, like anyone who's actually like, because there are, you know, the people that like code the actual parts of the game, they've got something to work on, right?
If they do something that is on something that is on the level of a mission or a biome in terms of like an addition, I'm still there for it. It's rock pops.
Yeah. Obviously, if they
I mean, personally, I
yes
still think
and
an
no.
anomaly is possibly the right way to
If
go.
they can do a game mode, 5 new enemies, a bunch of new perks by May, sure, I'm not going to turn that down.
I'm just saying for them, I think there'll have to be something, which is why I'm just like, just do an anomaly of some kind, of whatever it is, something rock pops. I don't know what it would be.
It's just that's just all I want is for them to release this season in May. That's all I want. That is literally all I'm asking for.
Because then it just confirms that that's not going to change. As in,
Yeah,
they have
May, November,
consistency locked in. That would be a very good sign.
That would literally that is a sign of a healthy game. It just is. Like when a game isn't consistent, it is in a bad state.
Yeah, and so
Halo,
far Deep Rock has been,
bad
but
state.
it's just the fact that we haven't
Overwatch, bad state.
Yeah, exactly. But so far Deep Rock has been since season started. It's just that us not having a roadmap yet when we had one so early, like beforehand.
No. I mean, as far as reliability goes and stability and all that stuff, seasons have not been in a good state. Every single one of them has been delayed. Like all of them. like quarter 3 ends up in quarter 4. No. Like the only way they get away with it, and they know this, that's why they do it, is because they never officially give you a individual date, and that is their shortcut, saying technically it's not later than we promised because we never promised. We win, but no, because we want promises. The games promise dates for a reason, because players want a date. They want to know when they should expect things from the game.
First of all, it builds hype because it like expectations are more solidified and more certain, and also it really means that they actually have to do something instead of they don't have an excuse, which actually helps development.
Yeah,
I think.
Not that I think they're by any means lazy, but it is the fact that they're
not lazy, but they are kind to themselves in some ways that potentially
themselves
could hinder it. Potentially,
they can give themselves as much time as they can convince themselves that they can give. Right? They said quarter 3, but then they're like, we're not going to make quarter 3. We're gonna have to go into like. We're going to say late quarter 3, and then no, we're not going to make late quarter 3. We're going to have to go into like quarter 4, and then we're not going to make like mid quarter 4. And we never really promised, like anything specifically. So we can do this, and it's just that kind of thing. That kind of thing needs to stop. That kind of thing is why you and me were miserable for a month. It was a fact that the distinct lack of knowing when we should expect news and content from the game was miserable to think about. Deep Rock was miserable to think about because of that unreliability.
It's not necessarily the news itself has to change. It's just what they say has to change. If that means changing when they say it, so, for example, having a roadmap come out much later than it did comparatively to like the same time last year. I
would take roadmaps like a month before the actual fucking teasers start dropping every fucking time, as long as it means that it comes out in May and November. Just May and November. That's it. Every season comes out May and November. Like,
it's definitely
I'm sure
their biggest communication problem is that they make roadmaps that don't. They just make uncertain roadmaps, and that doesn't make sense. It doesn't help people actually generate excitement, because it's just like, well, this is subject to change, then just
because that's what they do, though, really, isn't it? Like they let you be a husk, a void for like 4 to 5 months, and then the teasers drop, and then they hype you up like really hard, really quick, immediately at the end, and they assume, and to be honest with you, for a casual, it does work, that it will equal out. That like the hype you feel and the excitement every time you look at a teaser and the attention you're paying to the game was worth it. Because for a normal, no life Deep Rock YouTube channel, news coming just at the end is all that matters, because you would have just stopped playing the game halfway through. It doesn't matter. Like, you just stop paying attention to Deep Rock when it stops paying attention to you. But if you pay attention to Deep Rock during the time that it doesn't really give a shit about players, being the drought that we went through, which I swear to God turns us into fucking villains at this point. Like, every time I talk about it,
I want to point out so actually, this is why I said that we could start getting teasers before the anniversary. Is because the crossbow was. So first of all, this is actually really strange that the Lunar event was actually at a different time last year. Slightly, it's actually because it was only a week long, which means it started.
Is it going to be 2 weeks now?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks. It's going to go to about the same time, like early February at the end. This one started on the 27th of January. That's also when we actually got the crossbow teaser. So we could see teasers before this event's up or just after, potentially.
The other thing is,
it's another one of those things where it's like it wouldn't surprise me, but I can't say.
They just had a lot more to tease back then, though.
They definitely did. They did.
And like, if we get Rockbox enemies, we get fucking
First of all, I could point out
what
they
is there
could
to tease?
tease the anniversary. First of all,
I mean, yeah.
Blame them.
I mean, it's already basically been fucking teased.
Exactly.
Yeah, probably not teased, actually, just taken, I guess. I don't know.
It's actually far more teased now than would have been teased up till it comes out.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, it's, I don't know, I don't know. The anniversary is going to be a very important time. And I still don't think that, like, if it's like Q3, if like the anniversary says Q3 and that they don't give us a title and that they've only just started working on the season, I don't think the game's, like, gonna die or anything. I just think it will lose like my faith in it for now, at least. But right now, I'm actually fucking hyped. Like, I genuinely believe that, like, if Ghost Ship is playing its cards, like I hope and I think they might be, the game is going to be in such a good fucking place for like the rest of its lifespan. After this year won't be that fun. Like, if the holidays will be cool and all, but like the seasons will be lackluster, assuming they do what we do, and can't do both. Like, maybe they could do seasons, they could do holidays and do good seasons.
The thing is, I think you're right, but I don't actually. I don't think you're wrong. I don't 100% agree with you, but I get this weird feeling that I'm just going to find season 4 and 5 more interesting than season 3. I don't know why, but I feel like I just will. Pretty much no matter what they are, I think I'm just going to find them more interesting in season 3 specifically.
I don't think they're going to like be a transparent in that. Yeah, we're kind of reining it in to work on the holiday events. They're not going to say anything like that. It's just probably going to be apparent in like the amount of content there is. It'll be like the fucking.
See, I agree. I agree with that.
It'll be like the
season
update
3 almost. That's the thing.
Yeah, it'll be like the update before season 1, right? Except less transparent. It's just them kind of doing an update just because they need to, right? Because, like, you know, it's like it has to kind of be done. Except now they're gonna still big it up like it's a normal season, because it will be a normal season, just, you know, with a slightly different angle to it. And it'll be that, yeah, they still big it up to like the news sources and they still get news coverage on it. Probably less if it's a Rockbox Part 2, because that seems to be a thing. People don't really give a shit about the Part 2s.
Which is why I could see them not wanting to. That we did discuss that. I could see them not wanting to do it. And that them,
but once again,
going into a brand new theme would make sense for why it takes what?
If you think about it, right, it is a fact that they have not worked on this season for about 3 months. Right, that they have only really started probably about now, if not a bit before. Like, they have not got 6 months put into this season. If that was the case, why would you want to work like and start a new thing? You would honestly, at that point, you would just kind of want to like slip this season under the rug, get it over and done with. Like, do this part 2 as a part, a half a part, and then go work on an actual bigger one when you have time.
Well, no, don't get me wrong. I think they should do sequels because I don't think, first of all, if they did try to do a new theme every season, the gaps would be even longer. And they still generate buzz, right? But and also they'd run out. They would just run out so much quicker at the same time because they'd have to come up with a big idea, like every like
they would like
every
piss through
every
all
2/3
the.
of a year they would have to come up with a
They
massive
would be
thing.
Yeah, they would be pissing through sci-fi contests, not concepts, like constantly, and all the ones they put in the game would be incredibly half-assed, half-explored, and half content. Like right now, Rockpox not developed enough to leave it on its own. I do honestly believe that if they move on, leaving Rockpox in the way that it is now, the Rockpox is a negative part of it. It like, even though it's technically better than the robots, it would be a worse part of the game than the robots if they leave it as it is currently. Because it's just a fucking like, if they get rid of the amount of infected biomes, the nothing burger that would be Rockpox would be hysterical.
What is a nothing burger?
Like, if there is not as many Rockpox missions for getting you to face the Rockpox, imagine how little people would encounter it and care about them and would give a shit about them. They wouldn't be worth having in the game if they leave it as it currently is. They need to fill out the enemy types and make them possible in normal missions, which I think they could do. Going into Season 4, people like the Rockpox. They don't have to be afraid of adding them into normal missions now. You could have a Rockpox swarm in a normal mission now. It would not be a hated thing. People like the Rockpox. And yeah, they do that. They fill out the Rockpox numbers. Let's be honest, they're going to fuck up one of them, and one of them is going to be a bane of everyone's existence, and people will complain about that, but that's inevitable.
Yeah, it'll be the Rockpox grabber.
And that's it. That's all part 2 needs to be. I see where you and likely Ghost Ship wants to take it, in that you need to kind of have an actual piece of content, or else there's but no, it really doesn't need more than filling out the variety and
obviously there'll be a new event
and making normal enemies and a new event.
There will be a new event. That I feel like that's even more locked in than a new
a new event.
New like game.
I don't think it has to be that wild though. It could just be a Rockpox mini boss. It could just be a nemesis, but for Rockpox. Like a mini boss that's like an actual enemy that's like a prospector but nemesis, that kind of thing. A cross between prospector and nemesis. I guess just prospector actually. Point is, turn the event into one of the enemies that you're filling out, so that you can do 2 birds, 1 stone.
See, in the context of that, though, I agree, and I think it would be wise. But my sort of just my idea part of my brain is just like, well, if they did that, I'd like to see it be some kind of pure Rockpox creature or something, not necessarily just an infected boss.
Oh, whatever. As long as it fills in the crack.
It'll be like a Rockpox Goliath. It's like something that's completely made of Rockpox. Or at least, because in the context of like the flood, like this is a flood thing, and they're obviously based on the flood. But the flood have like pure forms, which still start out as things that they've infected, but they become like a pure flood creature that can like morph between different configurations. And it's like the flood tank, which is just basically just just this big sort of man, but it's like completely made of flood. There's no identifiable other creature in there, and it can turn into like this weird spider thing, and this thing that crawls on walls and like shoots. Basically, it could just be like fucking hell. What it could be is a Rockpox have binded the Arbalest and the Lacerated together. It's like just morphed them in like it's landed in one of their eggs, and it's just morphed them together. Because that's how you would get a really cool event. Because like, how would you explain it? Oh, it'd have to be something like a spike, like a contagion spike has formed, but because of where it is, it's different to just a normal spike, and it's already there, so it's not just like a meteor.
That was the logic.
So it's not just a meteor shot. Yeah, but this is like even more. Where it's like landing on like a twin's egg, and it's like binded them together, and it like flips between it. Like they're on each other's backs. It's like the car when you push it against the wall and it turns over and it can keep going. It just jumps. It's a lacerator on the ground, and then it jumps, and then because the Arbalest is on top, it can just attach to the ceiling. It can just.
That would be really cool.
I know.
A bit much if we're thinking low key, but like, yeah, honestly, yeah, that would fit in the boss thing, and it would fit in the event thing. Two birds, one stone. Keeping this as efficient as possible in filling out the Life-Phage's identity and position in the game. That's what season 4 should achieve with a part 2, and hopefully launch in May. Launch in May. Just get it out on May. No matter what actually is on there, get it out on May.
If you want to go further than just infecting enemies, you can take that to be like the Rockpox emerging enemies just being a thing anyway. That's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, and I would rather this.
It's like
I wouldn't want them. I wouldn't want them using this a lot, but like you have like a Rockpox. Let's just say Corona. Rockpox Corona. But it isn't ready for launch. It's just not. It's not ready for launch. Launch, add it later. Just do that. Just make sure you launch it on May, and then add it a little bit later. Maybe in the halfway event, halfway thing, or maybe just like a small meteors, just like a week later or whenever it's ready. Just like seriously, I cannot overstate. I might be able to, though. I've said it so many times. If they can reliably release it in a month, like not in a month, but like like the same month every year, that would do so much good for the game.
Also, with something like that, like little additions that they just need to save for a bit later, like it's like in terms of implementation, it's sort of small meteor-esque, but this is stuff that they had already been working on, and then they just couldn't get it in for launch. But that's fine. Do not obviously. Basically, what Tyler's saying is don't delay launch for stuff that could be added during the season to give it more life over time. But you can even implement, because I don't think there's anything wrong with just doing more voice lines. Like you could have status updates, like in the season terminal, like next to where it says like the status report, there'll be like status update 1. There'll be like, oh, it's the Rockpox has infected another creature. It's like shellbacks, look out for them, something like that.
Or the mineral stock thing at the top, the little bar that tells you like recent things.
I mean, like this would be more like significant markers of like new content. It'd be like
it'd be
like a status like report. You like when it's added, there'll be like a notification,
little exclamation mark
on the terminal, and it would tell you to like look at it so you know what's going on.
A new enemy has been consumed by the Rockpox.
They kind of should have done that for Small Meteor. Like they could have done that.
Yeah, they could have done that, and I feel like if they think about it a little bit more, they might. But I'm not, because what the thing is we don't want season 4, like in this scenario, let's say season 4 content slowing down season 5, right? We don't want them working on this Corona to slow down season 5. So I am basically saying that like if they have like 7 ideas, they cut it down to 5 because of time. But when it comes to launch, one of them's not ready, right? It should still be in a good enough state to where they can release it within a month of actually launching the season. Like, I think that around that, like literally while they're patching out glitches, they are still working on the things they didn't quite finish. Like, and then once that month period after the season is launched, if by that point everything in the last season is done and over with, that is ideal. And then they can move on to the next season. Also, all the while not having to worry about the holiday events.
Also, when it comes to adding new Rockpox enemies, it would have something like the shellback. That would be the one that you don't have, like, because it depends on what you're doing. Like, first of all, but if something like a warden would be probably far more influential to the combat, then that's like something you should probably prioritize, and like the boss as well should absolutely be prioritized. That, and probably the Spitball too. But then it's like maybe just the Macteria one and the Shellback. I think they're not as high a priority. Maybe
I don't know how you would break down inherently the types of enemies. I know that some people do. There's like grunt type, like swarm type, like just a mass. Like all the grunts basically, swarmers, stuff like that. Then you have like your. What's up?
Just to like help them if they don't think that just adding new enemies is like quite enough. Think of it like this: if you actually, now I don't necessarily want this because I like my twins idea so much, and like or just a Rockbox Dreadnought in general. If the whole point of season 4 is like the bad thing that's happened is that the Rockbox is like infecting other things, I mean, you should probably just theme it around that anyway. Really, the whole point is that it's like evolved or it's become smarter and it can infect other creatures, the non-glyphid stuff. That can be a big point, or the main point even, possibly.
It's not hard to justify it at all. The only issue with this is that there is not a big signifying marker of a thing to do. In that there is not a warning, anomaly, game mode, map, fucking any of that. That's the only issue with this idea. But I feel like the impression they've given off is that they do not have time to add that and the content that is actually needed. If they add that, we're probably only going to get like 1 or 2 more Life of Age enemies, and it won't fix them, and they will fall into irrelevancy still. Right? They'd only have like a new game mode that is then forced into the queues that no one wants to play because it's underdeveloped and underthought out. Like, that's all that will end up happening. It would be far better if we...
Tyler, remember, you can go, like, you can, first of all, Ghost Ship, I'm about to help you a lot, just like I've just been helping you just now. You can go a step further in streamlining things. You can combine that addition with the new enemies. My idea, I feel like you actually didn't like this, but you might just have to accept it because, like you might have to just accept it. They're going to try and add something, like a new mode of some kind in some. What the fuck are you supposed to call those things? We have to figure out.
I call them like map additions.
Yeah, but I don't. Either way, they're gonna do that. They're gonna do that, but I can streamline it even further. It's just like where my anomaly idea was that it could be an optional Rockbox boss fight. That's basically my idea, and then you get your Rockbox boss, and it's also an anomaly that it's like innovating, but it's an anomaly that brings an optional boss fight. It works on a lot of levels. I think for them. Basically the point. I think
if they really feel the need and feel the itch, I would just say just add a shitting fuck off an anomaly. Just really do. Just fucking throw up an anomaly on the game. Just do it. Don't do another warning. Don't overachieve. Try go for a game mode and fuck it up again.
Well, the thing is, I would say don't do a warning, but at the same time, if it comes down to it, basically just Rockbox presence as a warning. If that's the way they want to have it be like, oh, this is how you get like Rockbox swarms, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, but then it would be really fucked because there's 2 Rockbox fucking warnings. Then many warnings are just going to be Rockbox based.
That's why we don't want warnings.
Nobody wants warnings. Ghost Ship. Nobody fucking wants warnings. Nobody. I did a poll. Like 500 people voted. Like 2 of them voted warnings. Nobody wants warnings in the game at all. Like obviously they technically want like game modes and like a map, which I'm not sure you will be able to provide with a part 2 there. But the point is, just don't bother trying to satisfy any of that stuff right now. Just focus on holidays. Fill out the Life of Age enemy type. Give us some equipment stuff to mess around with for the duration of the rest of the season, and that will be enough.
Do you understand how easily your fans are satisfied?
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, like literally.
You simply don't have to do as much as you think you do in certain areas.
Especially this time around, because clearly, you don't need to add that much stuff to keep people around with the holidays, right? Like that's how it works. Like it's just like that's like I don't know. It's just like if they try and add too much, that shows that the holiday thing isn't a decision used to help alleviate the drought issue. It is them not being able to control themselves and wasting too much time on stuff that doesn't matter. If the next season has stuff that we didn't want or need, and it takes too long to go out, it tells me not that they're thinking ahead, but they are incompetent. But right now, I am hoping and praying that they are on top of it. They have thought ahead, they've figured it out, holiday events to fill out the schedule. This year won't have that much season content, spending all their effort on holiday stuff, and then come next year, we will be getting banger seasons with constant holidays keeping us around. That is the future of the game I'm hoping for, and the split road that I'm facing right now will appear to me, and I'll pick a path on the anniversary date. And it feels like some sort of deadline of like an act 3 of like a movie or something. On that day, the game will change forever, like something like that.
The only problem is that it's like this basically necessitates them making reverse exceptions, which they kind of don't do. I guess they did it in the sense of like they didn't get the Christmas beer like drink done, but at the same time they can't delay Christmas. But basically, what I mean by reverse exceptions, that these holidays have actually, in the sense of them getting carried away, have been exceptions, like in that sense, in that they've just let themselves get carried away. It wasn't necessarily the plan to do as much as they did. Let it happen the other way around as well, where you don't necessarily get everything you planned done, and have that just be okay for once. That's basically what I'm saying. That sometimes that's okay in the context of just in for the sake of actually just getting things out in a regular manner. It's okay. It's actually good. I prefer consistency rather than
And plus, I realise now with a title reveal, we could also get a date reveal. They tend to come in queue like together. So
the date is usually the first teaser anyway.
No.
Basically, actually, no. It was for season 3 though. It was for season.
Yeah, it was for season 3. Yeah, but then again, we got the teasers very late. So, yeah. Although I don't know, it's something that, in my ideal world, the anniversary stream will be live, and we'll watch it, and which we are going to do it anyway. And we see more perks, and like maybe they tell us more life of age enemies. Maybe they're that kind to tell us that. And then they'll be like a new event, but they won't tell us what. And then they'll give us the title reveal, or they probably want to give us a title reveal before they tell us we're getting more life of age enemies, but you get the point. And then on that title reveal will be like the 4th of May, something like that, or May the 5th, because they're gonna, I don't know, add like a Star Wars reference or something, like something like that. That would be my ideal thing. That would be like my best case scenario, best day of my life. Not really the best day of my life was when they were on our stream, which is kind of sad, but but yeah, that's the ideal situation. I don't know about you, Harry, but I don't know. I think this new outlook, I'm pretty chuffed. I've come full circle. I'm back to looking forward to the future of the game, Harry.
Yeah, until we find out the future of the game.
Yeah. Well, obviously, yeah. I'm
probably in the same position in terms of mindset that I was. It just adapts. I look at what's going on. It's like, okay, I understand. I get it. Maybe, except I don't understand anything. I'm stupid. Help me. And I just wait. I just wait, and I just make my mind up on a I sort of have I think about very short term. So I have opinions on the things that have just happened. Then I also think long term. Long term though is more arbitrary to me. It's like I have opinions, or I have concerns, but them being long term means I shouldn't have them at the forefront of my mind. So I'm pretty good at not worrying about the game. I'll just, instead of worrying, I just wait and then shit on stuff if it's not good. It's just easier.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh no, it's going to be bad forever. I'd be like, oh no, this thing was bad. Doesn't mean the next thing will be. But if the next thing's bad, then I'll say it's bad as well. That's roll with the punches. Anyway, we can absolutely stop this now. We can absolutely, because we have absolutely beaten the hit the mark, the quota, far beyond it. Like I said, there is never any reason to think that we won't, because it just happens. In fact, the more unclear it is, the more like it feels like we're not going to be able to have it be long enough, the more likely it is for it to just be
Well, yeah,
More
I
than
told
enough.
you, like, because we had so little to talk about, because there wasn't much to the actual event. Like, I typed to fucking ramble, and here we are.
I do want to see if we can do one that isn't rambling though, but no.
Well, I don't know. I think, well, we do those ones when there's lots of things to do. But for now, yeah, we're
Meet
done
my
here.
goal.
I might make a Reddit post like begging them because I just want it to be a thing. Just a reliable seasons would be so nice. just, just so fucking nice.
I think it'd be interesting to see how important people think it is that seasons are like consistent. Maybe, although at the same time, I kind of don't. Maybe not, because frankly, anyone who's like okay with them not being consistent isn't worth listening to. So maybe we shouldn't do that. I feel like it would be pretty. Majority would be like, yeah, they should at least be consistent. I feel like it's going to be pretty unanimous.
Yeah.
Idiots. Anyway, that was lovely. That was lovely. That was so nice. Anyway, tomorrow we're gonna do a thing.
Oh God. Yeah, we need another day's rest, I think.
I haven't used the M1000 at all. Not even once. Not ever. That's the only thing I've really got to do. Because I feel that that's a bit of a gap.
I thought I used this Derby.
Kind of gay.
I don't have to actually. I've tried using it many times. I just often stop really quickly because I'm like, oh, get it off me.
Get it off me. Cut it off. Right, we're at 2 hours 21. I want to stop it at 2 hours 22 minutes and 22 seconds. We're going to go for another minute and 11 seconds.
Do you have a comment? You said you had some. Let's just try and do one.
We don't have time for that.
What are they too meaty of comments?
Yeah. We've got a minute. Because like I said, I want to stop at 2 hours 22 minutes and 22 seconds. Got a minute exactly.
All
right. So, yeah.
If you want to leave now, be our guest, because there's not going to be much gold at this point.
No. Thank you all so much for tuning in, for listening, for watching, for reading, for writing, for downloading the transcript and reading our podcast in Braille. Why the fuck would you need to do that? That's for like a blind and deaf person, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I was about to say the YouTube is not very Braille friendly, but then I was wait, no, you don't have to be.
Well, I guess you don't. I mean, I guess being blind isn't. It's probably pretty fucking bad. Anyway, thank you. If you enjoyed this, please make sure to like and do the thing and like, subscribe and ring my bell. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Baby. Bye.